LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
Welcome to How Are the Podcast. It's Gav, and you join us for today's match day preview as Sunderland take on Manchester United at the Stadium of Light. It's our second last home game of the season. It's the last 3 o'clock home game of the season, which makes me very, very sad. But we are going to try and look forward to this one and enjoy it. Joining me today to look ahead to the game, first off, we've got Ant Waterson. Hello, mate.
Hello, yes. It is quite sad, isn't it? Like, the season is drawn to an end. It's been such a lovely season. You don't want it to end. Well, maybe some of us want it to end, but I don't.
Well, we'll see what happens in this game first, mate.
Well,
We're about to get on to all that. You know, you never know. The season could either end or continue based on this result. You just never know.
It's going to be a cracking game, though.
It is going to be a cracking game, which we will get into, of course. And also with us is Johnny Hawley. Hello, mate.
Hello. It's nice to be back. Feels like it's been a little while since I've been on, so back to the grind.
A little
2
while.
days.
It was literally 3-4 days ago or something. You were on a podcast, just because we record that often. Yeah. Also with us is Andrew Smithson, who hasn't gone quite as long as you, Johnny. I think Andrew was only on yesterday or something. So, hello, mate.
Hello. I think that's a polite way of saying I'm a bit of a professional gobshite now, who's always on these things.
Yeah, we all are, mate. We all are. Manchester United, then, an interesting game. One which, to be honest, when I'm looking ahead to a season, I always pick out when are we playing Man United at home. It goes back to being a kid when they were the biggest draw in the world, and just excited to play against them. But it's been quite a while since we played them. Obviously, we didn't face them until October away from home, and that wasn't a particularly great day. Kind of brought us back down to earth. I can remember going into that game thinking, if we win here, Amarim's going to get the sack, and I think we were around 6th or 7th in the table. So we were flying at that point. So it's been quite a long time now since we last played Man U. We're looking at coming up, just over 7 months ago, which is crazy, really, when you think about it. But yeah, we are rounded off the season with a couple of decent home games, this being the second to last one. And I've like I said, just something about this game excites us. I don't know why. I mean, we're going to get into it, but as an occasion, Sunderland Man United just has a big feel about it, doesn't it?
It does. You're right. I mean, I can remember going back. Like, it was the season when we went down under Peter Reid, and when they came to Roker Park, I think they just expected to turn up a win, and we turned them over. It was a hell of a game. A really, really good game of football. And since then, I think I've always looked forward to playing them. Like, I think we've had some good games over the years. I can remember the one where they beat us 1-0 when Mickey Gray and Alex Ray both got sent off. Andy Cole got sent off and all. Like, Ray and Cole were like headbutting each other and that. I don't know what Mickey Gray did. I think he swore at the ref or something because one of them lads had handballed it just before leading up the goal. But we had the 2-2 when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fell over a sprinkler and they got a free kick and scored from that. There's been some cracking ties. But you're right. It's like, for me, I think it's like, not being biased, but 2 of the biggest clubs in the country, like historically as well. Like, I think they'd probably say the same. It's just always brings out the best in the United fans, because obviously their travelling fans are brilliant. And they'll bring the noise as well. And they're on a really good run. I think they've won the last 3, so they want to beat us, get a good end of the season. Then some YouTuber might be able to shave his head for once. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep talking a bit because you're coughing, Gav. But like I say, it's going to be a dead exciting game today. I think obviously they're in form where picking up points here and there, but I think it's got all the ingredients to be one of the games of the weekend, to be honest.
Yeah. What do you think of, Johnny, when you think of home games against Man U? You're a little bit younger, so you can't go quite far as back as Ant. You're probably just thinking of us getting tanked all the time off them.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've got none of these positive associations with Man United other than the League Cup semi, which wasn't even in the league. So
And it
like,
wasn't at the Stadium of Light either. So,
exactly. I don't like
yeah.
it wasn't the Stadium of Light. So my Stadium of Light memories of Man United are like Ibrahimovic scoring to beat us 1-0 the season that we went down. Louis Saha scoring a penalty to, I think, make it 4-0. Just some
Do you
awful
remember
awful games.
Ronaldo's free kick where he got clapped off the pitch?
Aye, yeah, Ronaldo's had some worldy games against us. I tell you what, what I don't remember, because it's the one good game we played against them that I wasn't there for, was when we beat them under Allardyce. I think it was Valentine's Day, I want to say.
Was
And
that away?
no, it was at home.
No?
I think was it 2-1. I want to say.
It was, yeah, I think Kazri
Yeah,
scored a really good goal.
yes, and I feel like we maybe scored off a set piece or something as well. But that was the one game that I missed that season because I was going on holiday. So the only good result we've had against Man United I wasn't even there for. So, aye, not the same smorgasbord of great memories as you lads, I would say.
Howie, Andrew, where does your memories take you to?
Oh, well, I tell you where their memories has taken them to, because they've not stopped banging on about it. That blooming day when they lost the title at the stadium. What a bunch of sad acts. They're still crying about that, as if Sunderland fans did anything different to what any set of fans would have done in that set of circumstances. Man United were like the biggest club in the world, and most people were sick of seeing them win all the time. So there was bound to be a bit of schadenfreude about them losing the title. And yet, they seem to have taken it personally. And I think Carrick's already piped up about it. And just bloody move on, lads. I know that's rich. That's rich coming from me, considering I spend my life like just reliving the 90s in my head. But just come on, man. You've had plenty of good days. You have to take it on the chin every now and again when it goes wrong.
Just know if we beat them, by the way, the Poznan's going to kick off, isn't it? You just know it. Stick that in your pipe. Alex Ferguson never got over it. He still brings it up whenever Sunderland are mentioned as well.
I know.
It's like, I was part of the little crew that started that off, I think, because it was back when the away end was right next to the southwest corner, and I'm in the southwest corner. So obviously, when the news filtered through, we all just started doing the Poznan in the corner, and it filtered around the ground, and like it was just funny. Like I like taking the piss. That's the whole point of football, isn't it? Like when you're a fan, you can take the piss out of each other a bit as well when you get one over on them.
You need that in football. Sorry, Andrew, but because like most people's teams are so shit that you never do anything good. So you need to get some joy from somewhere. And there's every other club in football you can enjoy hitting. So it's an infinite resource of good times to have, which we've needed more than most, I think.
I was just going to say, Gav, I hope you're pleased with yourself, admitting that it was all your fault, because you've made all those Man United fans cry all these years, and they've never quite got over it. So yeah, you've got a lot of answers to provide, I'm afraid.
And I've wrote the team talk for tomorrow as well. Yeah. Today, sorry. Oh no, and it was me this week. I've mistimed us. Never mind. It's normally and I'll take it on the chin this week because it's normally me takes a piss out of him.
2 weeks in a row, I've done it well.
Yeah. So today we play Manchester United at the Stadium of Light. As I mentioned, there's a bit of history between the two clubs. Going into the game, it's an interesting one, mainly for us because, I mean, look at the table. They're not going to be caught in third. They can't go any higher. I mean, they can go lower, but it would mean they would have to lose every game and Liverpool would have to win every game or Villa. So their position in third is pretty much secured now. And they're really playing for pride as the season goes out, trying to end on a positive note. I suppose, you look at it, they're not going to finish second, but mathematically they still can finish second. But that won't be their aspiration. It would be a disaster if Man City managed to lose 4 games. So it's not going to happen. They're basically finishing third. Whereas for us, we win this one, that puts us level on 50 points with Brighton, at least. If they win, results elsewhere change things. But at the minute, we're on 47. Brighton and 8th are on 50. So a win would be massive for us, Johnny, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely huge, given there are games running out now. We've got 3 games left. Win this one, and then you face potential games against Chelsea and Everton where they're either going to be slightly ahead of us, like potentially a point ahead, or behind us in the table. And, if them teams are talking about finishing in a European position, then surely we should be. But it kind of does all hinge on this one for me, because if we don't win here, it's going to be very difficult to see how things play out in our favour, with 2 games to go.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? I think it's a good lesson to a lot of people, and I don't just limit this to Sunderland fans. I think it's football fans generally, where there's this expectation that your results should follow the difficulty of the fixtures, but that's not how football works. Like, everyone analyzes the season going, take us, we dropped 2 points against Wolves. That's a massive opportunity missed. And don't get us wrong, I'm also amongst the first to start decrying missed opportunities. So again, I'm a hypocrite as much as anyone is. But it'll be, we dropped points against Wolves. We needed the points in that game because the other games are harder. But really, okay, Man United on paper at the minute is obviously one of the hardest games you can have because they're in great form and they've had a brilliant second half of the season and all the rest of it. But if we win against Man United, well, you can easily just rationalise it and go, if we'd beaten Wolves and took a point off United, we'd still be buzzing. So what's wrong with doing it the other way around and taking a point in the first game and winning the second? As long as you get the points on the board at the end of the day, then you've done your job. So, but what I would say in sort of slight mitigation of that is this does feel a bit like the last chance to get back on track before them final 2 games, because they are mega important. You're totally right, Gav, to point out that it's 2 teams who are going to be in the thick of that European battle with us if we get a good result. So that gives us a bit of a unique opportunity compared to the other teams in that throng of however many it is, 6 or so clubs that are all going for them European spots, where games against your direct rivals, obviously they're 6-pointers, which is an advantage. It's not necessarily going to, be the difference maker, but it's something that we could potentially make a real big use of and put ourselves in a great position. But it starts today. Yeah, today. But yeah, no. I do think it's a massive game, and the entire mood of the last couple of games of the season is going to massively change depending on this result.
Yeah, and by the time we play, Andrew, Chelsea will have already played Liverpool away, and given Chelsea's form, it'd be a bit of a shock if they got a result there. But it's possible. So we should actually have a clearer idea of what's going on going into the game, which will give us, I'd like to think it's going to give us some added motivation, because when we've been doing these previews in recent weeks, when we get to the stage where we're about to predict the results, we've already hyped ourselves up and we're all like, we're going to win. I do want to just make it known, and I don't think anyone's pointed this out to him since he did it, but Johnny did predict a 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest. So he was very carried away with that one, I think.
That could be the lowest point of my However the podcast career, I think, because I was so confident as well. I wasn't just like, maybe. I was full-blooded, so I hold my hands up on that one.
Yeah, well, I think we're all in danger of getting carried away from time to time, but it is a case, Andrew, that this game kind of does decide where we go from this point, because there's no way that everyone around us is going to drop points this weekend. Somebody's going to pick up points, and as you look at it, there is a clutch of teams. I mean, if you look from, anywhere from kind of Brentford down, I would say from 7th. So them 7th and 8th positions are really, really up for grabs. You could argue Bournemouth in 6 or 2, and you've got Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Everton, Fulham, and us all in the mix for like 2 or 3 positions. So we have to win a game, don't we? We have to win a game, and it might seem daunting. We're playing 3rd in the table and a team who've really picked up their form since Carrick went in there. But if you treat it like a big occasion and treat it like a big game and everybody steps up, there's no reason why we can't win. But the problem is like I say, we've been a little bit overconfident in the last couple of weeks with other games and we haven't quite delivered. So you do kind of have to be guarded, but at the same time acknowledge this is a game where it all kind of hinges on it.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on this game, and the weekend in general is going to really help clarify the picture, because, like you say, there is like a little bunch of teams who are all fancy.
It's like a mini league, isn't it? It's like its own little mini league.
Yeah, it is, and some of the teams in that group are in great form. So, like Brighton, I think, for example, before losing last weekend, had been flying, whereas Chelsea are just stinking the place out. The fixtures, I think Fulham play Bournemouth. So there's 2 of the teams in that group who who are against each other, and at least one of them will have to drop points. So yeah, this weekend will tell us a lot. As for Sunderland, it's a cliche, but at the moment we can't really worry about teams around us. We just have to concentrate on this Man U game. And I know what you're saying. We have to be guarded. And we can't just look at the fact that Man United probably don't have a lot to play for and assume that they're going to roll up and not really be up for it. But by and large, our better performances this season have been against the stronger sides, I think. I think, yeah, like I say, by and large. So we, as a group of players, will not be looking at Man United and being overawed and panicking necessarily. We'll be confident of being able to give them a game. And if that does produce 3 points, then yeah, it really is game on in terms of Europe, or at the very least a top half finish, which would be a good achievement, I would say.
Yeah, looking at the table, and you've got teams towards the bottom picking up form, which is to be expected when you're in a bit of a battle. Teams pick up the levels. So Forest, Tottenham have picked up results. Leeds are in decent form, and then further up the table, Arsenal, Man City, Man U, Liverpool, even prior to losing the last game, had won 3 on the bounce. Bournemouth are in good form. That clutch of teams I'm talking about, I know Brighton had been in a little bit of decent form, but otherwise, everyone's in the same sort of inconsistent spell. You're looking at it. Nobody's putting a run together. Chelsea, the only run being put together is Chelsea losing games. Chelsea can't buy a win. So it's, even though our last few results have been disappointing, we haven't been cut adrift from those teams around us. And if we can kind of put that to one side and concentrate fully on this game, we will still be in the race. I mean, Chelsea have got Liverpool away, which I just don't see them getting something there. They're probably going to prove us wrong now I've said it. As Andrew said, Fulham have got to play Bournemouth, which, somebody, as he says, is going to drop points. Brighton have got Wolves, and I mean, the Wolves aren't great, but they're capable of a shock. They have pulled off some mad results this season. Brentford are away at Man City. Everton have got to go away at the Palace. So it's there are going to be opportunities where teams around us drop points again this weekend. And as Andrew says, we've just got to focus on us, win this game, and if by 5 o'clock we're in the position where we're going into the last 2 games where we can do something, happy days. But we've got to just focus on ourselves and get this result.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. And as you said, even going back to that Everton one, they've got Palace who aren't mathematically safe. They probably are safe, but they're not there mathematically. So they'll be wanting that win, won't they? Same with Forest as well. Forest will want to get that one win, which will make them mathematically safe. And they've got Newcastle, haven't they? So it's going to be a really good weekend. We'll know. I think we'll know where we are after this weekend. But if we, like you said, if we can get that 3 points, it just gives us that little bit of confidence to go into the next 2 games, the last 2 games with see we can do it. And you've got to remember as well, with the result the other night with Villa beating Forest in the Europa League, that automatically opens that place up now, because Villa are looking to be in the Champions League as well. So it looks as if it's going to be 8th place, which for me would be outstanding anyway. But I think if we could aim for the 50 points, that would be such a good return. If we can get, so we're on 47 now, so 1 more win. But if we can win today, and then look at Everton away, who are in a bit of indifferent form as well, even though they played excellent the other night against City, you never know, you know what I mean? And I think obviously Chelsea, when Chelsea rock up here, I think Chelsea will just want the season done with. They're at that point where they're just not arsed, are they? You saw them last week, and they've got players on the hill. I'm trying. So this is going to be, it's going to be a very difficult game against a very good side. But as Andrew said before, we've shown against when the big sides have come here. You look at Arsenal and City, where we've ground out draws. We frightened Arsenal off the pitch in the first half. They did not know how to deal with us. So it is there in our locker, and Granit Xhaka will want to put one over on United being ex-Arsenal, wouldn't he? So there'll be something there. There'll be something there for him, and I think some of the players who are being rumoured with, moves, this, that, and the other, will want to put their names in the window as well. So it's a perfect opportunity for us.
Yes, right. We'll quickly shoot for a break, and then when we come back, we'll look at Man U and what we think's going to happen in the game. So we'll speak to you all in a minute. Welcome back to Howie the podcast. And just before the break there, we were chatting about what lies on this game. And as I mentioned, Man U basically guaranteed third place, Andrew. I'm looking at the results they've picked up recently. Obviously, last time out, a morale-boosting win against effectively the biggest rivals, Liverpool, at home. Which I watched that game, and it was actually a really decent game of football. Probably, not probably, they were very lucky that the Shesko goal stood. So, we could have been talking about a different result had officials and VAR done their job, but we'll not get into that. We'll probably be moaning about that when we do the reaction pod later, undoubtedly, because there's always something, isn't there? But looking at the Man United team, Andrew, they've got themselves back into a decent position. I know I listened to the opposition preview pod, which Chris did yesterday, and they were talking about how basically when the previous manager left, he didn't exactly leave them in a horrendous position. There was something like 6th in the table or 5th in the table when he left, Ruben Amorim. And Michael Carrick's just came in and done what he wouldn't do, which was revert from a system which didn't really suit the players that he had, and has got them playing in a way which kind of suits the players that he's got at his disposal, which is just basic management, really. It's kind of what you expect an incoming manager to do, is go back to basics, get everybody working in a system that works for them, start picking up results, and then see where you go. But I look at that Manchester United team, and I'm trying to look at it and think, where can we get at them? Like, what is it about them? Where is the obvious weaknesses in that team? And I actually think that Liverpool, because it was an under-strength Liverpool team that went to Old Trafford, and they did expose them at times in ways that I think we can. We're very good at getting the ball forward quickly and punishing teams that way. We're very good at, particularly with Robbie, getting into defenders and turning them and just finding space in the box. Other than the fact that I look at that front line, it makes us shit scared, if I'm honest. I don't necessarily fear Manchester United. I think we've got to make this almost a classic Sunderland home game. When I say classic, I mean classic in the sense of the last year or so, where when teams have came to us and we've been really up for it as a crowd and the fans have been behind the players, it's almost suffocating for the opposition. And players like Fernandes and Mbuemo and Cunha, they can't play because we're all over them like a rash. Do you think that's kind of the approach we have to take? We have to be sort of more like the Sunderland from earlier in the season at home?
Yeah, I would say so, Gav. I don't think being too passive is really going to help. I think Man United will rub their hands at that and look to pick us apart if we're not the ones pushing and trying to make things happen. With regards to officials, you said we'll be complaining about officials in the reaction pod. We'll probably be complaining about them when we come to select our starting 11 because, of course, Ballard's not available now.
Yeah.
Carrick, from what I can tell, has done a good job, but there has been a couple of factors that I think have gone in his favour. You said that when Amorim left, it wasn't as if the club were in a real mess. It was just a case of maybe somebody needing to be a bit more flexible in terms of their approach. Carrick also had the benefit of one or two of their summer signings had now had chance to get their feet under the table and get settled. So some of those names you said and what you're saying about the forward line scaring you, well, I think they've now got used to being at Man United and have found their feet a bit. That said, they're not as scary as Man U used to be, Gav. It's it's not vintage Man United. The other thing that is going well for Man United, and I think that will cause us a problem, is for the first time in years, they've not been in Europe. They've not really had much of a cup run to speak of in either of the domestic cups. So Man United must be absolutely fresh as daisies. They used to play in 2 games a week, whereas this season, they haven't had that. And I think that's helped Carrick because it's given him time on the training pitch. The players are fresh. and he's been able to plan meticulously in the days that come for the next opponents. So it is tricky because I think, like you said, we're going to have to be aggressive and full of energy to get into their faces. But we're not coming up against a team who've just had a midweek European trip or anything like that, or might have their eye on an upcoming cup tie. So it's one of them where there's the potential for it to be two teams. If Man United want it, I think it could be two teams proper going at each other.
Yeah, the worry for me, Johnny, is Fernandes. Obviously, he's most assists in the league, and the majority of them come from set players. And we have been absolutely terrible at defending set players. I mean, we've highlighted it repeatedly over recent weeks. It does seem like teams are really targeting us from a certain area, and maybe Roofs has been targeted in a certain area when it comes to delivering corners into the box and things like that. I mean, what can you do about that though? Like, it's easier sitting there going, well, just don't concede corners, don't give free kicks away. But it's going to happen. It's inevitable, isn't it? So, like, I suppose it's the $1 million question, isn't it? Like, how do you stop Bruno Fernandes?
Injure him.
2 feet in the neck, put him down.
Yeah, pick someone we don't mind getting a suspension and just kill him. Because beyond that, I don't really see how.
Has he got braids? Just get someone to pull them.
Our chief braid puller's currently picking spelks out of his arse though from the stands, isn't he, for the last few games? No, in all seriousness, you're right. Like, Bruno Fernandes is the one, isn't he? He's the danger man. Almost feels like underplaying how good he is, because it's
irritating, man. It's so irritating because he's so good at it, and it's like, and then you look and they've got Casemiro and Maguire, who are just elite headers of the ball. So it must make his. I mean, it's all right saying, oh yeah, he's got 18, 19 assists this season, but then he's also got people in the box who are just the best at what they do. So it must be great to watch for their fans, like, but like, you're at a loss as how to stop it, really.
100%, because it's not just the set pieces as well, and he has got a lot of assists from set pieces, which will be a problem. But if you just look at his pure chance creation numbers as well, he always is by far and away the biggest creator of chances in the whole Premier League. And it's like there's usually quite some distance between him and whoever's even second on the list, which shows you, I think, that like he doesn't care where he picks the ball up. Like, his first, second, and probably third thought is, how do I create a chance right now from where I am? So we can stifle the space, and we can be organised and aggressive, and we can press, and we can do everything right. But he's brave enough, and he's a good enough footballer, as much as he is a bit of a rat. And I think a lot of people don't like him, but he's so good that he'll just throw so much shit at the wall, and he's good enough that you know some of it's going to stick in any game. And then at that point, it's down to, obviously, like you say, Casemiro or Maguire from set pieces, or Seshko or Mbeumo or Cunha or whoever to actually, put the chance away and convert it into a goal. But for us, it's like, whether you try and push him out wide, he's got a good cross on him. If you keep him through the middle, we know he can play through balls. He's got a good long shot. He's dangerous in the box. He's dangerous everywhere as long as he's wearing a pair of boots and a Man United kit. So I think it's going to be a hell of a job, and whatever Lebris comes up with, I hope it's good, because it's going to need to be.
Yeah, and we don't have Dan Ballard to deal with that aerial threat, and so what do we do in the defence? Because there are a host of candidates to replace him. You could move Nordy inside, which is what happened when the red card happened. We've got Hertrauder, who seems to be unfancied. O'Nien's been a choice when he's had the ability to bring defenders in. He's brought in Luke O'Nien, but I think it would be a risk putting him in for this game, if I'm honest. So, like, what do you expect Reggie's to do with the defence? Because he has options. It's just, I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to pick the option I would go with, which would be Hertrauder, if I'm honest. I would go with him, but I just don't see him doing it.
No. I actually agree. I think I would have put Hertrauder in, but I don't think it's going to happen. And for some reason, I can just say Luke O'Nien playing, and I don't know why. You be thinking, well,
don't get us wrong. I don't hate it. It just, I don't think it's the game for him. When we're discussing set players being a difficulty, it's his weakness. He doesn't deal well when the ball's coming against big lads. He's pulling people. He's, walking a fine line when it comes to giving away penalties and things. I just don't think that's what you need against a team who are so good from set players.
Yeah. And
So
he's
the
not very
likelihood,
tall either, is he? So it's like,
yeah. So,
you're going
so
to have to get Nordy in, I think. I think he'll put Nordy in and keep Trey Hume. I think that's probably what will be. And then obviously look at, bringing an actual out-and-out winger in on the right. I think that's probably what's going to happen. But it is going to be difficult, like Johnny just said before. I mean, I was excited about the game today until Johnny spoke about Bruno Fernandes, but there we go. But he's a world-class operator, isn't he? He's a world-class footballer, so we are going to be up against it. But Granite might leave one on him or something like that. He might not like it, so you never know what might happen. But I mean, we mentioned Casemiro. I mean, he was the forgotten man, wasn't he, under Ruben Amorim? There were I think he's leaving at the end of the season so as well, but he's had a proper good end of the season, hasn't he? Scoring goals left, right, and centre. So they're going to have, it's going to be all over the pitch. They've got some good players. Sesko up front's been scoring goals, with his hands and everything like that, but he's still been banging them in. So what I think you mentioned before, what we're going to do to stop the set pieces coming in. For me, is what we need to do is protect what they're going to do. They're going to obviously be looking to go into Robin Roos, so we protect that space between the 6-yard box and Roos goal line, and probably tell Roos anything from the goal line to 6 yards yours, and then the defenders do everything from that, or even try and push them out, try and break an offsiding or something like that. So it could be done. But we'll see what happens, like I say. But because it's been one of them. It's been one of them where we've conceded a lot of goals from set players lately, haven't we? Last week's it was dreadful defending, and that was the only way Wolves were going to score past us. Obviously Villa we conceded, was it 2 from set players? Forest, I lost count. But it was, it is becoming a big worry for us.
Yes. So, Andrew, what do we do? What do you reckon? Are you thinking Nordy centre half, Trey Hume right back, play somebody else out wide? And if so, if that's what you see, you're nodding there, who plays on the right? Because the other threat they've got is Luke Shaw playing down the left hand side as well, linking up with the wide players. So, and Labrissa's mentality in the past has been put Rig there, put Diarra there, like that. Put Hume there, like a midfield, sort of more defence minded, somebody who can trap runners a bit better maybe than a winger would. But the other side of that is that we know we've got wingers back available now. So, what does he do?
I think further up the pitch is in more doubt, not necessarily in his mind, but in supporters' minds and people who are trying to predict the starting 11. I do. I think, as has been suggested, it makes most sense to put Mukiele and Alderete in the middle. Big, powerful lads, win plenty of headers. We've said this a few times. Labris doesn't like to make too many changes if he doesn't have to. So that was the back four that finished against Wolves. It would make sense if he stuck with it. I'm not one for picking out individuals and having a go. I am a little bit concerned about Hume. We've conceded from a couple of set pieces recently where Hume hasn't been able to block the person getting the header in. So that is a little bit of a fear. But if anybody's going to pull themselves round and get back to their best, it'll be Hume. So I think, it makes sense to keep that 4 and then further up. I know you're saying there's wingers coming back, Gav, but for me, I think Chris Riggs the best option, because it's not like he's a slouch. He can contribute on the ball and be creative and what have you. He's a bit of a goal threat as well, but he also has more adaptability, and he could perhaps help in a defensive way in heading backwards as much as he does going forwards. And not all of the wingers that are coming back at the moment do have that capability.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do, if I'm honest, because we're talking about this game being important, but we also can't be open and expansive from minute 1 and just end up getting pummeled again like we did against Forest. I think there are lessons to be learned from that. I mean, if you're Michael Carrick, Johnny, you probably are looking at that Forest game and going, what did they do to Sunderland? And it was I mean, it was pretty simple, really. They just overwhelmed us, didn't they? And in particular, it felt like every time they got the ball to Hutchinson, he just took us on, put balls into the box. And they've got a very similar kind of team to us in terms of the wide players, the big lad up front, midfielders who get around the striker and pick up the loose balls and things. So their game plan's almost that, really. If I'm Man U, that's probably the game I'm looking to, and we've got to guard against that. But I look at the team we fielded against Forest, and I was over the moon with that side. So yeah, I don't. What do you reckon? Would you do the same? Would you bring Rig in on the right hand side, or are you thinking something a little bit different? Because we know also Diarra's waiting in the wings. He does like Enzo on the left, so could be that Talby gets dropped, or Talby plays on the right, and Enzo goes on the left, and then you get Diarra back into the midfield for some extra legs. Again, we've got options. We've got wingers coming back. We've got Angulo, Jocelyn Tabi. I think Traore is meant to be back for this one as well as an option off the bench. And he has trusted Traore, and could be last chance saloon. He might hire him in for a couple of games to see if he wants to earn a new deal. I don't know. But we've got options. It's just a case of, does he try something a bit different, or does he do something which gives him a little bit more confidence, makes him feel a little bit more comfortable about what we're going to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, some good points you make there. Like, you look at the Forest game and you have to learn lessons. You can't allow the same kind of things that happen in that game to happen again. It's just unacceptable at this level. So we definitely have to change. But I think for this game, for me, he's got to build the team around the centre of midfield and work from there. So we just talked about Bruno Fernandes. I know they've got brilliant players all over the pitch. I mean, the wide lads or inside forwards, or however you want to describe them, whether it's Mbouma or Acuna. I mean, it could be Ahmad, who we've not really mentioned. They've got some really top players, but the midfield is where it's going to be won or lost. So I'd be having Diarra in there. I know he's struggled. I know he's had some poor games, but I think he gives you so much off the ball. And in a game like this, we're going to need it. And then, so that obviously for me, that would mean that Enzo Lafay pushes back out wide to the left-hand side. So then you've got a decision to make about Talby. To be honest, I'm happy with either Talby or Rig on the right-hand side. I think Talby's better off the left, but I think he's, he can work hard enough, and he's got pace, which is a big thing, because we're not expecting, I don't think, to have the majority of chances or the majority of possession even really in this game. So having a proper outlet of real pace to be able to break could be a big weapon. But yeah, I'd be building around the midfield, bring Diarra in, push Enzo out wide. And then with the fullbacks, I mean, Ronaldo should be playing at left back. It can't be Trey Hume there. We know this. So then it's just right back, and hands might be tied to a degree, because I think you were discussing 09 before. I agree. Maybe not the game for him to come in and start in the heart of defence. So then you're probably looking at Nordy in the middle, Hume right back. And with Hume at right back, I think that does give you a bit of licence maybe to play Talby on the right wing, because Hume isn't going to be as aggressive going forward as Nordy would be, which obviously it's not ideal, because Nordy's great going forward from right back, but possibly gives you that bit extra solidity. And we know Hume's quite comfortable tucking into midfield as well, to be able to give us some reinforcements in that area if we do start getting overrun, because as we've said, Bruno Fernandes is amazing, but even then, Casemiro, leave the football before the football leaves you. That didn't age too well from Carragher, did it? He's solid as anything. And again, like Kobbie Mainoo, great footballer. We all saw that with England when we reached the Euros final. So it sounds negative, but I think we've got to look at setting up to limit their strengths and then assess where we can, eke out some chances and try and get a little bit of joy. So I think I've talked myself into starting Talby there, actually. I'm more Talby on the right wing.
Oh, and lads, let's go around the table. What's going to happen? And what do you reckon, mate? Are you confident or not?
I was, like I said, I was before Johnny opened his mouth. But you know what? I'll bite your hands off for a draw, Gav. So I'm gonna go with what Chris Sutton said on the BBC Sport website and go for a 1-1 draw. And I'll go for Brian Brobby to break his duck and get a goal.
I'd be agreeing with Chris Sutton. He's a tit.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying. That's what he said. So I think
I would have said anything else. I would have just went, I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
I suddenly feel better for upsetting Ant after his name dropped Chris Sutton.
Andrew, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I'd take a point. I think, yeah, 1-1. I'd be quite happy with that. I know what you're saying about we need a win, and that really puts things back on track. But I don't think a point against Man U would be bad going. And I think Talby does start. I think he plays on the left, so I'll say he'll get our goal for us.
Johnny, go on, mate. Finish us off.
Well, I predicted 3-0 against Forest, so I'm not going to do that again.
Bit of reverse psychology, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling really depressed and miserable and not excited for the game at all. So we're going to get beat 5-0, which really means an 8-0 win for us if my maths works out right. Now, in all seriousness, it's going to be a tight game, I think. I'll go for a draw as well to be slightly optimistic. Do you know what? Actually, I think it'll be quite a high score as well. I'll go 2-2. I reckon we're due a couple of goals, but they are a good team, aren't they? So they'll get a couple as well. Talby and Sadiqi's going to finally get one, I reckon.
Nice. I'm going 2-1 Sunderland. We're going to be losing 1-0. We're going to get ourselves level before half-time, and then right at the death to rescue the season and keep things alive, it's going to be Wilson Isidore coming off the bench and banging one in to make it 2-1 to Sunderland, and then we're all going to be celebrating and dreaming about the next 2 games. I've got to end on a bit of positivity, haven't I?
I was going to say, I'll take yours over mine.
Right. Go on, mate.
I was going to say, in the past, predicting a draw against Man United would have been positivity. Yeah. So, we're getting there. We're getting there.
I just think that we need to win this game, and I just feel like they don't. So maybe that'll help us a little bit. I don't know.
I'm not writing off our chances. I think we do. I think it's definitely possible. Just, I don't know. I'm not as confident as I normally am.
I'd fancy the 2-1 if we went 2-0 in front. If we went behind, I wouldn't fancy it. But if we went 2-0 in front, I would fancy that 2-1.
That's weird, though, because we picked up so many points from going behind the season.
I agree. But I think they're a type of side who'll go ahead and stay ahead, aren't they? Even though I know that they nearly dicked it last week against Liverpool, but they found that weird, didn't it, to get that goal. But no, you're right. They're there. They are still there. We got that, Gav, and defensively they're not great. So
get into them. Get into them. Absolutely. Let's have some optimism. Right, chaps. Well, we'll see what happens. After the game, we will be convening in the pub to have a little chat about it, and I'm hoping we're talking about a win. It would be amazing if we were. And you're joining me, and I think Mike's over for this one, so us 3 will be in the pub after the game. Been ditched by Johnny now. He's a commentator. He just comes comes when he's got nothing to do.
Much less exciting this time, Gav. It's just that I need to get a specific train back.
Whatever. We've been dumped. I don't really care about your excuses.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
We'll get our weekly offer of a pint from Sam Blakey's mum, which so far we've politely turned down, haven't we? So it might be the day.
Poor Sam's been missed off there. Sam will be with us. He's always there, isn't he? So yes, join us for the reaction after the game. We will be from the pub. And then on Sunday morning, Chris will be joined by Nick Barnes. So lots to look forward to. Hopefully going to be talking about a win. I'm praying it's a win. I'm sick of coming on here and predicting wins and then getting beat or drawn. We're going to win this time, I promise you. There's Gav's promise to everybody. We are going to win today. And feel it in me water. Cheers, lads. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been great.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you to the listeners. As always, we'll see you after the game. Ta-ra for now.